thanks, Remko. I appreciate you joining me today at the booth here.
Appreciate it, AJ.
Yeah, excited to have a little conversation and learn a little bit more about subtracts. Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your background in the space.
All right, so my name is Remko Bloemhard. A little bit different name. My parents are from the Netherlands. So I'm actually an insurance adjuster. So I'm actually the ones that your contractors are fighting most of the time. But I created a supplement company. And I kind of knew a lot of the ins and outs that the contractor might not know of in order to get that supplement approved easier. And what we found was we were using an Excel spreadsheet through Google Docs, and we had a lot of claims fall through the cracks. So we weren't following up in a timely manner like we should. We screwed up. We lost a very big client. So we searched for a CRM, and there was none on the market. So we actually created our own, more of a supplement management platform than a CRM, and that is called Subtracts. So we use that to track all of our claims, but it also shows the claim averages and how many days to close, because that affects cash flow. And there's a lot of other features as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, you were just showing me earlier. It's quite impressive. I see how for someone that's all they're doing is supplements all day, whether that's an external team or a team inside of a roofing company, I see how that platform's going to really accelerate them and help hold the individual supplementers accountable.
Exactly.
I think that was the thing that really impressed me. Like, you've really dialed in that piece of being able to see like how long is it taking them, how much are their supplement, the average value, all that, and track that on an individual supplement basis. That was impressive.
Thank you. So yeah, we do sell this platform to roofers that do internal supplementing, but we also work with supplement companies that is a third party, and that enables the roofer that they're working with to be able to log in as well and see exactly where the claim is in the status, but then also it shows them, it's very transparent, and it sees exactly what that supplement company or their internal supplement staff is doing as far as averages per claim and turn time.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Here's how roofers make it home for dinner every single night without losing a single sale, even when they're one-man shows. Automate your communication with ProLine, the only communication-first CRM for roofers. Because when you fix your communication, you'll sell more jobs. Your weekends will smell more like sunscreen and backyard barbecues than that crappy gas station coffee. And all you got to do is ask these roofers.
Where we had about 200% growth, and I attribute that to incorporating ProLine.
But just with one automation, I was able to get 25 Google reviews.
It's been absolutely insane how quickly we were able to grow.
Now, ProLine's not going to win the beauty pageant, but it will save your Saturday. Now, back to the show.
What do you see? You're very integrated into this process with the supplementing, into this insurance world. Where do you see this progressing? Is there a big, what is the insurance roofing process going to look like in 1, 2, 5 years from now? What kind of direction do you see things going?
If I could tell you that, I'd take you with me on retirement. But it is, the elephant in the room is always AI. But then another elephant is you have companies that are buying out for the data that are really skewed to the insurance companies. And the insurance companies we do see tightening up on supplementing, whether it's forcing only the homeowner to work with them, or cracking down that they won't cover this or won't cover that. We also see more and more RPS schedules and ACV policies, higher deductibles. So it is becoming, I think, a little bit more difficult market than it was 10 years ago. But we just need to learn to play the game a little bit better, and I think that our platform helps you do that.
Yeah. It's just the standards become higher. You have to be executing in a more detailed way. You can't be letting things slip through the cracks. You got to be on top of on each one of these claims. You got to be like the amount of time I saw on your platform. It's literally like not touched in the last 48 hours. Right. So you're like really tracking, make sure that communication continues to happen consistently on each one.
Correct.
And that makes sense. It's like the standard is just going much higher.
It is, and one of the things too, so if an adjuster tells you, hey, I'm taking a couple days off to hang out with my family, call me on Wednesday, 4 days from now. you could set that time for 4 days from now on Wednesday, but then you'll put a note in there, taking time off for family. So when you finally get that DA on the phone, say, how was that time with your family? It builds that rapport, and it softens the whole process. You're asking them questions that nobody else is, right? So everybody else is just beating them up trying to get extra money, but now you're also taking it on a more personal side with that rapport. So that's also helped us actually increase our turn time and dollar amount.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. What would you say is the number one mistake that contractors are making when it comes to supplements in the insurance process?
I think the number one mistake, in my opinion, is they put people doing the supplements that don't know the business, don't know roofing component. They were office admin last week, and all of a sudden they're supplementing this week. They might put people in that are not equipped to be on hold on the phone to try to get a hold of that desk adjuster, somebody with the wrong temperament. Or they make the salesperson do it. And the salesperson actually makes money when they're on the roof.
Yeah.
Versus trying to, on the phone in between roofs, or just taking a few days off roofs to do supplements. So I think those are probably the two biggest mistakes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What's the pros and cons of building an internal supplementing team? And by internal supplementing team, I mean not having the sales rep do it or the admin do it, office lady to have it, you're doing it in her spare time. It's like truly building an internal team. But what's the pros and cons of building that team internally versus hiring an external supplementing team? What's the pros and cons of each?
I think, so if you're building it internally, do you have the business to keep them busy? Because most of the time on internal, they're going to be W-2 versus a 1099. So you have to have that work for them to justify the cost of the seat, the desk in your space. They're going to get sick. Their children are going to be sick. They're going to have certain days off. You might need to fire them. You got to train them. So it's a whole litany of, then you also have payroll taxes and FICA and everything else that comes into play. It's just another full-time employee. And do you have the time to train, hire, and work with them throughout the process?
What is that point? Does he you just need a certain scale for it to make sense? What is that scale? How many supplements a month? How many claims a month? When that really starts to make sense, potentially, to build out the internal team versus just working with the external team?
So I think it's really, is the pain point, are they dedicated, or are they ready to do that training, right? And so what we see is that it's roughly about 50, 60 claims per supplementer is what is comfortable. We can handle a little bit more, but 50, 60, because if we call them on every other day, that means you're making 25 or 30 phone calls a day. So, and that's pretty much about max. So when we look at that, that's kind of the numbers, the ratios we use is 50 to 60 claims per supplementer. But then you also have to justify, can a supplementer also write the estimate to be written for supplementing? And write it properly. Have the correct F9 notes in there if it needs to be, or building codes or something else of that nature. So it's not just supplementing and calling and following up, but it's also writing a very detailed estimate that will, without being exaggerated, that the insurance company is willing to entertain, to look at, and also approve.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in either way, they can both use subtracts to win. Sorry, I was going to ask you to circle back. It sounds like once you hit the point where you have 50 to 60 claims per month that you're supplementing, that's where you can even really start to consider having that internal team.
You could.
You can, but even then, like you're saying, people are sick, they go on vacation. So you kind of need to jump straight to maybe having multiple supplementers if you're going to do that, right?
100%, because if you have somebody that takes a day off or vacation or sick, you need to have somebody step in to cover their claims for them so that follow-up doesn't fall through the cracks. And then again, go back to the writing. Do you have that other? Most supplementers are not good at estimate writers, and vice versa. It's a different mindset. Somebody is sitting there typing out the line items on Xactimate or Symbility. They don't have the patience to get on the phone and be on hold with the insurance companies. So you don't just hire the two supplementers, but then you also have to hire that writing team and teach them as well.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. What do you say about? Lost my train of thought there. Let's kind of circle back with this event in general. What's been your vibe here at Win the Storm? What's been your takeaways?
It's actually been a really good event. Steve, this is only my second event, but I decided to come out. I had no idea what the turnout and the vibe and everything else. It's been an amazing event that was put on. Great sponsors like ProLine, and but it's been. I think the biggest takeaway for me is just establishing those partnerships and friendships that we only see each other during a convention or something of that nature, and to nurture those. So for me, that's one of the most important aspects of these type of meetings.
Did you end up getting a booth here as well, or are you just participating?
I did not get a booth this time, but just participating.
We did that for many years, and we still do that for some shows, and it's especially from a partnership standpoint. You don't need a booth to work on the relationships. Right. So, it makes total sense. It's been great hanging out with you, and I totally agree. It's the same mindset here. The partnerships, the ability to build these relationships, see everybody in person. Definitely a huge.
Like you and I, we might have corresponded in the past, but we've never met until this event, and so I think it just solidifies those partnerships, friendships, and relationships, and nurtures that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time.
It. Thank you very much.
It's been a good overview, and I'm sure people will get some value out of learning about Subtracks and your insights.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.